Welcome everyone to the Be Thyself podcast by Joanne Lolash. Today is episode 14 and we have Paola here from the Equilibrium Intuitive. Welcome, Paola.
Hi guys, and hello Joanne, and thank you for having me here.
I'm so privileged and excited that you're here today.
Thank you.
Paola is a kinesiologist and an intuitive healer. Paola has been doing this for how many years?
Oh, since 2018.
Oh gosh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
You're a queen of kinesiology and intuitive healing. I can't wait to talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Me too.
I'm so excited. Two powerhouses in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get ready for this journey.
I know. Literally, it's going to be a bad hour. Paola, can I just say, I studied nutrition. I think I graduated back in 2013. And when you study nutrition, you just realize it doesn't end with nutrition. It's endless. It's endless knowing and learning. It's nutrigenomics, it's emotional healing, it's emotional eating, it's, psyche and brain and manifestation of things that you go through and how you deal with it. And I've always been the why girl, Paola. I swear to God, God bless me with this state of consciousness. I just wouldn't shut up. I'm like, but why is that happening? I'd be like, something would happen at work or at school and I'd be like, oh, why is that happening? Why are they doing that? Why are they, it was always the why girl. I was why about everything. And I think the why brain got me into this whole channel. For me to have you here today to talk about the human psyche, kinesiology, and the manifestation of disease is because I generally have an interest in holistic health, and it just does not stop with your food. It's so much more. And I know that's your specialty today. So I'm excited. Today we're going to start with a few simple questions just to get the audience aware of what kinesiology is. So I will ask you that very first question is, Paola, what is kinesiology and why kinesiology?
Yeah. Kinesiology is a modality that accesses the biofeedback of the body. So the biofeedback is how the body responds to stress. We use a tool called muscle testing to find out where the imbalances are within the body. And it's amazing because it's not based on your logical mind. It's based on the subconscious. It's based on the things that are underneath the veil. And I love it because I feel like a detective, Someone comes to me with an issue and I'm on it. What is the meaning of this? The why girl, right?
That's what I think you connect, because that's exactly detective.
Yeah.
But why? Why is that happening?
Yeah, I love giving people an answer to the deeper meanings of what they're experiencing. Because, you can go to a doctor and they can tell you scientifically what is going on, but the root of it and where it actually manifested from is my specialty, because I feel like based on someone's healing journey, it's important for them to truly understand why and how, because it's empowering. When you understand more about your body and the effects that stress and emotions and traumas and any other issues that are creating any form of imbalances can provide that person, it gives them a place to start healing. The reason why I started kinesiology, it's a personal story, but it's one that if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have been on this trajectory of my life. So I truly did alchemize a really challenging situation in my life and turned it into something positive, which I try to do for my clients too. But how it all began was I had no idea about kinesiology. I think we get to a stage where we have no idea that we don't know these things. And then something happens and you're kind of stuck because the normal route doesn't serve you. It doesn't give you the answers that you're looking for. I come from a very big Italian family and we're very close. And when something happens to someone else, it feels like it's happening to you. So my older sister has a daughter.
Your niece.
She's my niece. When she was born normal. Everything was fine. But she had a severe reaction to the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine when she was about 15 months old. And when she had the vaccine, immediately after, she got a high temperature, which obviously the doctors warn you that, if your child gets vaccinated, they're going to get a high temperature. But it didn't stop there. Her temperature went through the roof, and we're trying to bring it down and it wouldn't go down. We ended up taking her to the hospital, and she started like crying in fits, and her behavior seemed very odd, out of the ordinary. It was almost like, I can only describe it as, I felt like her brain was frying. That's what it felt like. That's what it looked like. This little girl, really healthy, really just like every other child, was regressing in front of our eyes.
And so fast.
Extremely fast. We'd look at other kids reaching their milestones, and she wasn't. She was crawling before and she stopped. She was, babbling and putting things in her mouth, toys, and, saying mama, but then it stopped. It started regressing. And we wanted answers. We wanted to understand what is happening to our little girl. Why is this happening to us? And I think when you go through an experience like that, you've got two ways to look at it. You can either blame God for why did you allow this to happen, or you can turn to God and ask God to help you. We thankfully turned to God and asked God, help us. Please give us something that we could help her with, because we can't see her suffering like this anymore. Sleepless nights, wasn't able to go to the bathroom, just really in a tight spot. And then we started going into the alternative therapies. We started changing her diet. We started removing gluten and dairy and sugar from her diet, which started helping her gut.
Well, that's the nutrition side, right?
Correct.
Which is obviously super important. That's why we talk about holistic health. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we started there first, and that helped. Then we started noticing that she was getting frustrated because she wasn't able to communicate. She couldn't talk. So
and how old was she at the time?
She was around this time when she started kinesiology. I'd say she was probably around 4, around that age. Because she couldn't communicate and she couldn't speak, there was a lot of frustration that she was feeling, as you can imagine. Just the simple things of your tummy hurts and you can't say that your tummy hurts. Yeah. Right? Having to live with the pain, or being itchy on your face and you want to scratch your face but you can't because you can't move. Yeah. It's all of these things, Or you're thirsty and you want to drink of water and you can't even ask for it because you can't even say it. All these things that we take for granted. But the powerful thing about kinesiology was it gave her a voice. Now, it didn't actually get her to speak, but it tapped into the parts of her that she wasn't able to express, the emotions that she was feeling, what she was going through, when it was happening, why it was happening. And it cleared these emotional blockages and these traumas and these experiences that she was going through. When we started doing sessions with kinesiology on her, she started getting better.
So you went to someone to do it?
Yeah. So we went to a chiropractor who offers kinesiology, so an applied kinesiologist. Okay. So they did adjustments on her physically, but they also did muscle testing. Wow. They also did muscle testing with vials to check and see what supplements if she was low in vitamins or anything like that. We ended up getting a blood test for her, and we ended up finding out that she had high amounts of mercury in her body.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. Which we then found out that the vaccine that she took had high amounts of mercury.
That means she had low zinc and potentially low B6. That's usually it's a ratio, or I think that's a copper to zinc ratio. Do you know what she was deficient in?
Not too sure what she was deficient in. Yeah. But the high amounts of mercury was the reason why her brain had that effect. Okay. Her body wasn't able to release it.
She wasn't able to eliminate the toxic load.
Yeah. So it started affecting her brain. Yeah. She was diagnosed with Rett's syndrome. Okay. But that's the scientific name for it because the doctor, his name was Dr. Retz. Yeah. But there's deeper meanings to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
When you go deeper and you truly understand how it even occurred in the first place, because you have to understand God makes no mistakes. God is for us, not against us. Yeah. And when you put anything synthetic in your body's going to react and reject it.
Yeah,
but it's just the way it is.
But what it is, they just have to create a label.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, oh, hey, eat all these processed preservative foods and all this junk and everything that kills your gut lining. But then say you have ADHD or you've got an autoimmune disease. I mean, look at what you're having and look what it's creating.
But it's the biggest money making.
Of course,
illness is the biggest money-making industry that you've ever seen in your whole entire life. People are actually farming illness within us just so they can get a paycheck.
Yeah, babe. They actually create a disease, and then what they do is they create a solution.
Yes.
Oh, we're here to save you.
Yes.
But they created it.
Correct.
So it's like, problem, solution, solution. Oh, we're doing so well, but it's like to keep you drugged and medicated and
And it's not the answer because it's just a Band-Aid. It's not looking at the root of it.
Absolutely. But look, I do say, even though I'm so holistic in every way, I think there's a place for Western medicine because in times of need, in times that things are severe, things need to be sorted, right?
But when it's chronic, that's the whole different story. When things are chronic and consistent, long-term, then it doesn't serve a purpose. So, if you're having a car accident and you've lost a lot of blood,
or limb,
that's when it comes in.
Absolutely.
But not when you've got
long-term. Yeah. And so that's where we go to, I'm the root cause queen. Hello, you're sitting with I'm like, every podcast I have is nutrigenomics is root cause to optimize your health. Like looking at the top, your motor and filling in the gaps so that you don't get any of your predispositions earlier. And, with histamines, we got down to the bottom root cause of your histamine issues, intracellular, outracellular, like outside and inside, it's just like, what we're about to talk to everyone about today in the audience, I just want to make it clear for the audience, is that today we in all my podcasts, I have spoken about detail of nutrigenomics and gut microbiome testing. We've gone into histamines and how that works. I've gone into inflammation and pain, gone into inner child therapy, and we'll dabble a little bit on that today. But today is the big topic on the human psyche. And what that does and how that creates and manifests illnesses. Yeah. And I've seen this with my own eyes. Paola, can I just say, I live in a Lebanese community, right? And I remember there were a few stories of people that just manifested a disease and died. And no one in their family had those pre-existing stuff. I know this, it's human biology. I know I know that like physically, if you eat unwell or, you don't exercise and all of that, you get sick, right? Because that's the physical manifestation. But I knew what had happened to them emotionally prior. And one example, I remember this girl, she was dating someone in the community and she didn't end up marrying him, but they loved each other, but the parents just wouldn't allow it to happen for whatever reason. And they split. And she went on, and then 6 years later, she got a disease and she died, and it was like cancer. It was cancer in her stomach. Yeah. And I knew. I'm not saying she didn't eat all the stuff that got there, but I knew that was the original reason that she created and manifested that disease. No one in her family had stomach cancer.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because our stomach digests, but it also digests our life. What we're going through.
So say that again. Sorry.
So even though that our stomach digests our food, it also digests our life. So what we're going through, our emotions. So if we're unable to digest something that's gone on, it creates an excess toxic.
Build up. Yeah.
So it's no surprise. And in the area of the stomach energy, we hold on to empathy and sympathy. These are these two main emotions that we hold there. So, for example, whatever she's gone through, she was obviously holding on to a lot of sympathy for herself, also empathy for the partner that she wasn't able to be with.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it targeted her stomach energy because she wasn't able to process it.
I love that analogy. That's so good. And that's why I've got you here today because, look, I've spoken about every topic when it comes to nutrition and it actually exists. They are true. Yeah. That is facts, okay? But we haven't touched on the emotional side. I've done inner child therapy and I do believe in that and we'll dabble a little bit on that today. But the emotional side is a massive topic that really is untouched and not a lot of people speak about. I know obviously people in our industry speak about it. There's people that specialize in it. Like Ina Segal, she's queen of that. And I know you look, up to
love
her
it
and
as a
all
doll.
her stuff. Yeah, and it's an amazing thing. I have seen stuff happen that people would just blanket and go, oh, they went through this and that. And I was like, I know. Like I was able to just see right through it. Like
Yeah.
I'll talk about the elephant in the room, Paola. Like I just don't shut up. Like
Yeah.
I won't shut up. When it comes to the truth, I won't shut up.
Yeah.
I will say it. I will exploit it. I will talk about it. I'll do anything because I see it for what it is. And I think people do that because, first of all, you don't exploit all your information out to everyone.
Yeah.
It's not everyone's business. Number two, it's embarrassing and there's shame and all that, involved in the whole thing. But I think if people just spoke about it and just said it for what it is, I think we'd probably live in a better place. Or we could actually get to the solution of the problem in a natural way as opposed to Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid. And people go their whole lives, they just don't talk about it. Or they do nothing about it, but it shows up. I just say, I've been an emotionally driven person my whole life. This is why I'm in this space, right? So if I have an emotion or a feeling or something happen, I'm just like, and I have to do the work around it, right? Like I have to do the work around it, and I do. And I found modalities to clean it and clear it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I cannot let go. Like it's it's gotten less, but I can't let go of it. Like it's subsided. It's lesser
Do you know
and lesser.
why?
I think I believe they're themes, and every time I haven't let it go of it, it's because I get triggered by that same theme. So they're common themes. But also I do remember, and I remember this through NLP, we also have problems that are called oxco problems. They're there for you in your life cycle to grow out of, and they keep showing up because it's your biggest lesson.
Yeah.
So, but the only difference is that it's supposed to show up less and less. That's the evolution for you with the oxco problem, right?
Absolutely.
So like you don't clear it up, we're done, that's it, it's gone. It's not. It's just the feeling and the emotion or the experience, it just gets less heightened each and every time.
Yeah. It's like, what triggers you is showing you what you have not healed within yourself. It's a glimmer, I like to call it, because it's interesting. A lot of people won't let go because they've also built an identity around what has happened, and it's part of them. And they can't recognize who they are if they let this go.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
I've held on to this for all my life. If I let go of this now, who am I going to become? Who am I?
I remember, A New Earth, what's his name? The guy, the book.
Eckhart
Tolle. I remember, I never forget this. He said, people actually go through massive depression when they stop working in their field because they've created a massive identity to who they are and what they do.
Yeah.
So their life, they're nothing without it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's who they attach themselves to be.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's his name? The trauma specialist, the other guy, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Trauma specialist. I forgot his name. It'll come to me. But I remember he said, he even admitted that he went through the war back in the day. I forgot what it was. It was the massive war that he survived. Okay. He survived it. And he recognized that he threw himself in work in order to deal with that trauma from...
Yeah. It's coping mechanism.
A coping, yeah. But like he's a trauma specialist, but like the thing is, you recognize your own stuff. I recognize my own stuff, but I get caught up in it still until it's time for me to clear it. I think when it's time for you to clear it, it becomes so heightened. It's loud. It's screaming at you. You've had enough. It's a volcano.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, I'm done.
Yeah.
The wise ones are the smart ones that can actually identify it and leave an exit before it becomes a volcano.
Yeah.
Because the volcano erupting is like your story, that narrative is... We're done. We're done with that narrative.
Yeah.
It's no longer the truth. It's been the truth to help you for a little while, but it's no longer the truth.
Yeah.
It's no longer the truth. Paola, you mentioned about your niece, and I don't know if you finished that the story because the next topic we're going to talk about is the psyche, and I'm really excited about that. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my favorite topic. So with your knees, you went to a kinesiologist. You started to get some.
Yeah, so we went to a kinesiologist. She started doing some sessions, and she started improving. Her behavior started improving. Her sleep, her quality of sleep, her ability to kind of like, it's almost like she was there because she wasn't able to see you. It was like glassed eyes, you know, but she was starting to come back to earth, if I can express that. I think when we go through traumas in our life, sometimes we disconnect from reality because our reality is too intense. So sometimes we lose memory. Sometimes we're so fogged up, checked out because existing is too hard right now. So you kind of like off with the fairies.
Yeah.
A lot of people have like mental breakdowns, but with her, she was not there. Obviously kinesiology really helped. I saw the benefits in her so much that I was like, wow, this is amazing. I want to have sessions. Like, I want to know, like, what am I holding? Like, this is amazing.
That was your turnaround.
That was my turnaround. I was like, she was the pinnacle moment for me. Like, yes, it was a horrible situation.
But see how the horrible situation turned into the most wonderful situation?
Absolutely.
That was your calling.
Yeah.
And that experience brought you to that.
Yeah. So it's almost like her soul knew that she was going to go through something like this.
She came here for that experience for you.
Correct.
And I'm sure your sister had learned something amazing from this.
Massively. But look how many people benefited from her experience.
Yeah, just that one person.
Just
divine.
Alessia going through what she went through.
Yeah.
Me then becoming a kinesiologist and now having the opportunity to help other people with similar situations.
Yeah.
It's like she sacrificed that part of herself to offer support to humanity in its own way.
Yeah.
And for that, I see it that way. I
Absolutely.
See,
Babe, I can't be a kinesiologist. You know why? I've never had an experience that has been so amazing with kinesiology. I think it's amazing. But the level of amazing for me to go and become one.
Yeah.
The only difference I really feel close to inner child therapy. For me, I think that's been a big one, and we'll dabble a little bit in that today. But because I do believe that we're a human built up, we have a psyche, which is all your beliefs and your narratives, and you're walking around every day and you keep verifying those beliefs, right? So you think, you act, you do, and look, very needed, right? Because you're humans functioning. So everyone human functioning has to have a psyche because it keeps you standing, it keeps you alive. But the human psyche for everyone is different. The experiences, their beliefs are different because they grew up in different families. They have different beliefs. They were raised different. They had different experiences, and all those things actually shape like who they are, right? So like, and I know, like, so if I meet someone and I'm talking to them, I'm 38 years old, so I've had a lot of experiences and I have my own belief systems, and I'm talking to them and that conflicts with me because they're going to conflict because they're not the same. We're not the same person. We weren't grown up in the same family. We didn't have the same experiences. Do you know what I mean? Even till now, we're having different experiences that cause a conflict. Now, I do believe in alignment though. So for example, right? You said to me in the car today, you're the youngest in your family. I'm the second youngest. And we mentioned like a scenario with old to young sibling, right? Correct? What was the other alignment that we had made?
That our oldest siblings to us is 10 years apart.
So there's 10 years, exactly 10 years, okay? And literally, me and you, when I met you, we just aligned. You know, the work that I did with the inner child therapist, she said to me, and it just stuck with me. She said to me, if you're not in alignment with someone, even a little bit, because you're not always 100% aligned, but you have like moments of alignment. So it could be that, for example.
Yeah.
You won't even cross their path.
Oh, wow.
They will be in your same building and you'll never cross their path.
Wow.
Okay. And I remember this. I know this sounds crazy. We have in the building I lived in when I moved out, there was a man, he was super obese, super, like triple obese. Like I'm talking about like edema and doesn't leave his apartment. So I think he works from home. He orders takeout all the time. He lived literally across from me. I never bumped into him once.
Yeah, wow.
And I was at the peak of my health and fitness.
Yes.
And I literally were a mismatch. And we literally live like probably walls apart, and I never bumped into that person. The times never aligned. probably in the 3 years that I was there, I probably saw him for a glimpse of like 30 seconds. And I think to myself, could I have been a bit of a sloth at that time? Like maybe that week or that month that I was a sloth, that I actually crossed paths with that person.
Or maybe he even just maybe considered looking after himself.
Yeah. Oh my God, Paula, that is... You and I, we have just started, literally. This is just started. We have just gotten started.
Yeah.
Okay. So that verifies that theory, and I absolutely think that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe I was meant to meet you. I remember starting my role, and I remember changing my narrative, saying I'm going to meet the most amazing people on field. I actually met you through the business that I was going through. Like I was going in to talk to you about products, or not you. I was talking to Jade, and she's like, "You're going to meet Paola," and I was like, "What?" Yeah. So alignment is the big key topic that we talk about. So, I think people get obsessed with making money and, getting married and having kids. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. That is part of our journey here. But it has to be in a state of alignment, okay? Because if the state of alignment is not there, it can be a volcano, as we mentioned. And volcanoes, there's mismatches, misalignment, frequency. I like to, babe, I swear to you, do you know how I look at life? I look at us like
oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense.
Like I'm an image person. Like I look at diagrams and I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like so, there's just that.
The incongruency with the energy.
Incongruency. And I think that a lot of people can be incongruent but will still stay in these relationships and marriages. But I think one big key player for me, and I realized about myself, I really feel the misalignment. I really feel the incongruency. Like I feel it. Like, I show up sick. I physically show up sick. I can't go to work. I won't go to that birthday. I won't go to that party if I'm incongruent with how I feel. It shows up for me. Remember I said to you, I'm an energy person. I'm emotional. Some people just put on a brave face, they put poker face on, they go. I'm like, nah, I got my heart on my sleeve. I got wearing my emotions. I'm walking around and it literally shows up. That's when I was struggling with that stuff, I started to understand myself more and realize that every time I was misaligned, whether that be a job, a relationship, I would feel sick, like physically sick. And I'd have to work on all the wounds and that to figure out why I was feeling that way about that scenario. Do you know what I mean? Until today, I actually still believe that everything's divinely crafted and it's going to happen the way it's going to happen, and it's going to be a match. There's going to be a match, frequency. But it's going to be like this. It's going to be like,
Guys, please watch the YouTube video. You have to see her facial expressions when she does this.
Literally, I have this image of frequency mismatching and doing this. Like I feel it. Like I can be in a space and I know where the frequencies are mismatched because I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. I'm that sensitive. I've been sensitive my whole entire life.
Yeah. And then there's some people that are so oblivious to it. They probably don't even believe that it exists.
Babe, I wish I was.
It's like a radio frequency. Sometimes the radio frequency is like not in tune, so that way other people can't hear it and feel it. Obviously, your radio frequency is like really turned up and your antennas are plugged into other people's energies.
I actually believe that 110%. Some of the shit you go through is not even yours. It's other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Especially if you're that attuned. Like, I think if you're very sensitive and you're that attuned, like, can I tell you, I know this is a crazy, crazy story. I have 2 little mini stories and then we move on to the human psyche. I remember I walked past a friend of mine on a bay walk that I would usually do, like this little walk near my house. And I bumped into them and usually would be like, how's work? How's this and that? That person told me they lost their job, okay? And I could not be around that person for a long period of time because I felt sensitive to them losing their job, because then I thought, oh shit, I'm going to be in that energy and I'm going to lose my job. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whether that was a wound of mind or like it was it was something that I felt. I thought it's his stuff. I'm feeling his stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's contagious.
It's contagious. I'm gonna. And I remember I had to disconnect and I had to change the narrative so that I wouldn't get stuck in that energy because I've seen that happen.
I think it's like when you're consistently around the same energy, it influences you.
Yeah.
Not in passing, but when you're around them consistently, like friendships, you tell me who you hang around and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Because that's the road that you end up going because it's around you.
Yeah.
For that, I don't think that you would have
created that.
Correct.
But babe, I'm so sensitive. I felt that energy. Do you understand?
I believe you. I believe you 100%.
I felt that. Like I was just like, all right, I need to, you know what I mean? Like recreate it.
Absolutely. It's like whatever you felt like it was yours.
It was mine. Yeah.
There's a really cool tip that I would love to share.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening and yourself, Joanne.
Yeah.
For those of you that feel other people's stuff, are very sensitive to other people's emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
It's like you've had a conversation with someone and it really broke your heart and you're walking away with just a little bit of residue of that feeling. There's a phrase that I'll get you to say and it goes like this.
Tell me.
Thank you for sharing this feeling. Now, the reason why we're saying thank you is because we are feeling it because God is allowing it, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to have gratitude for this experience, what it's trying to teach us. So we say, thank you for sharing this feeling. Acknowledge that it's not yours. So say, thank you, but this does not belong to me. I release this now and I give it back to where it belongs so it can be healed. So it's not your responsibility or your burden to carry.
Yeah.
So Joanne, let's say this together. Are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you for sharing this feeling.
Thank you for sharing this feeling.
But it doesn't belong to me.
But it doesn't belong to me.
I release this now.
I release this now.
And I give it back to where it belongs.
And I give it back to where it belongs.
So it can be healed.
So it can be healed.
Good. And then just take a nice big cleansing inhale in and breathe it out. That's it.
Wow. Love that. So
It's so simple, but it works.
Paola.
Tell me.
So your niece went through that experience. Did she end up healing herself?
So the damage was unfortunately done in terms of her brain.
Okay.
But her quality of life improved massively.
Okay.
A lot of kids with Rett syndrome need to be tube fed because they're unable to eat on their own. But she eats on her own really fine. The severity of this case could have been 10 times worse than what she has experienced. Thank God. But with her experience, I was like, I need to learn this, man. This is some pretty cool stuff. So I started getting kinesiology done on myself, and that really changed my life, Joanne. Like, it changed me massively. If you would have the old version of me in this room, sitting right next to me, you wouldn't recognize us. We're two different energies. It's completely different. One was carrying so many emotions, so many traumas, so many belief systems that weren't serving her. And now this one is now in her power, confident, aware of herself, knows her worth.
Following her passion and purpose.
Yes, which is the most important.
Helping people every single day.
Yes.
What were you doing before that?
I was a personal assistant.
Ah.
Yeah, I was a personal assistant.
You're busy making sure that everything's done.
Oh, man.
Making sure their life's organized. Can I tell you why you were a vibrational match to that?
Tell me, please.
Yeah, because you grew up in an Italian family and you're the youngest.
Yeah.
So you would have played that role at home. And so what you did is you landed yourself in a role that matched that vibration. But that's not your highest purpose.
Interesting that you say that. I was the youngest. I was the spoilt one, right?
Yeah.
So my grandmother spoilt me rotten and everything was done for me, right? And there was a part of me, obviously, that wanted to take responsibility and have more organization and feel like I'm needed rather than having everything done for me. All right. So I became a personal assistant unconsciously without realizing what that meant.
It was your setup. It was your setup from your psyche, from your home. So everything that you go out and do originally started in your home.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you go match that until you make the unconscious conscious.
And also, this was a very high-paying job. I was getting really good money. And my mum instilled this in me. It's like,
work hard, make lots of money.
Make money, buy a property.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what equates your worth.
Yeah.
Right?
Italians and Lebs, babe, we're the same.
I know. And when I had decided to leave, obviously you could tell my mum was not happy.
Yeah.
But I was leaving because I was getting sick. Like I was developing boils in my skin from the stress. Yeah, it was intense.
But buy a house and get boils and get sick and then die but you did amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I decided to study kinesiology. My mum was like, "What is this kinesiology? Why are you wasting your time?"
Yeah. Thought you were a Fruit Loop.
Oh my God, like she sees me now doing what I do and it inspires her, and she kind of wishes that she followed through with what she wanted to do. She said she wanted to be was it a detective or a police officer or something along those lines?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it kind of like she's living through me in a way, you know.
I remember the childhood psychologist, what's her name? Dr. Fagali? No, I think babe, I like literally all these people on the top of my head, but I've forgotten it. But she says what parents do is they project their own unwanted needs onto their kids.
Yes.
All right. And so they can fulfill it through their child because they didn't get it. But the child is built divinely and its purpose is more than we can even anticipate.
Yeah.
So for us to come in and manipulate from our human psyche, so that's your mum's human psyche, she's projecting it. It's not intentional. We're not saying anything's intentional. It's all unintentional.
Yeah.
And it's like it actually comes from love.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like they want
Yeah.
the best for you, but that's what they know is the best.
Yeah, of course.
So because that's what they missed out on.
Yeah.
But it's actually not what they're divinely
it's
made to.
security. They want you to have security.
Exactly. Yeah, it's security.
They know
definitely.
they know that they're not going to be here forever, and they want you to be steady. They want you to
Yes.
have everything that you need
Safe, yeah. Safe
before
and
they
secure.
depart this world.
Exactly. And that's their main duty.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
understand that. I completely empathize with that. But it wasn't in alignment. I'm not going to live in an environment that is not serving my highest good just for the sake of money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying.
It's like, yes, money, we need money to live and to create and to be able to offer more in this world, but it's not the reason for happiness.
Yeah.
It's a tool that you can use, but
It's absolutely a tool,
Yeah.
definitely, but it's not the be all end all.
no,
for sure.
absolutely not.
Look, I think if you're making money and you're not getting sick, then you're in alignment to that.
Yes.
But not if it's actually
I say that a lot.
incongruent with what you.
When someone's unwell all the
Yeah.
time, it's
Yeah.
because in their life there is an incongruency, there is an imbalance
Yeah.
that they're not recognizing, and their sickness is
a
like knocking at the
manifestation.
door,
Yeah, saying,
hey, pay
"Hey!"
attention,
Yeah.
there's something going on here.
Absolutely. So do you know that when someone comes to me and complains about something, if I know their life, I directly know where it comes from?
Yeah.
I was at a work function and we were just connecting to people around us and like, hi, how are you? My name's Joanne. I work for this business. I'm in finance, for head office for this massive banner. Anyway, and one guy was just chatting to me. He's like, I work in finance and And for some reason, we got into that. When it comes to end of financial year, he gets really worried and concerned. Like he gets anxiety to perform. And I looked at him, babe, I just met this guy. It was like a 2-minute conversation. But because I've already worked out what the trigger of wound was, I asked him, I said, okay, so if I asked you, what is it, if you didn't perform, what would happen? You'd lose he's like, I'd lose my job. And I'll be like, and if you lost your job, what would happen? He's like, my girlfriend would leave me. And then I said, okay, so what happened to you in your home where that had happened previously? Because that's like, a belief. And then, babe, within 3 minutes, the guy's mouth dropped because I had actually just met him. And he's like, wow, how did you know that? When he was young, they lived in like England and his dad was super wealthy, had lots of money. They lived on a farm. They had horses, everything. The dad somehow lost money from a bad, I don't know, something. And they completely went into bankrupt. Yeah. And all he remembered was his mum leaving.
Okay.
So what he did, and I'm sure there's more to the story, but what he did is he created a story meaning that because his dad lost the money, the mum left.
Yeah.
So what he's done, every time it's that time of the year, financial performing, his nervous system goes on wire because he actually has the same traumatic event, or because the belief is there that she's going to leave him if he doesn't have enough money.
So it's like he actually hasn't experienced it himself, but he's seen it firsthand from his father.
And that's his psyche. It's his human psyche. We're
Isn't
talking
it
about the subconscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even me. So I had an experience last week and my emotion to it was so heightened. I knew it and I even knew where it came from. But I couldn't, I was just like, I had enough. Like, it was just like, I'm done. Like, I was like, I've had enough. And then I had to go back and realize why, the extent it was so heightened. And it was obviously from similar emotions and patterns that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Starting my family, then in friendships. Like, you know, it's that same pattern that keeps happening over and over again. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that takes us to the next topic because we're just like. Okay. Can you give me an example of this method and how this has positively impacted someone in their life? I mean, you're doing it for ages. Can you give me one scenario?
Yeah. Okay, so I've got many and you wanted one. Okay, so let me go into my database of my brain and I'll pick one for you that I think would be beneficial. Okay, so I have one. I've got I've had a client who's come in for a session who has had issues with her reproductive system.
Yeah.
And our reproductive system is our womb space, our ovaries, our uterus. Her main issue was endometriosis, which is the thick lining of the uterine wall, and she was unable to fall pregnant. Now, think of it like this. She's been told that she's not able to fall pregnant because of endometriosis. So immediately she's got a belief system there that is also blocking her from falling pregnant.
Because they've told her she can't have it.
Yeah.
That's what the sign says.
Because immediately when you attach yourself to a belief, you become part of that identity, right? Yeah. So the first thing that we had to do was clear this belief because it was not serving her in actually falling pregnant. Yeah. She wanted something, but the belief was conflicting.
Yeah.
So we cleared that. Then there was something a little bit deeper as to why she even manifested endometriosis in the first place. How did it even come? It doesn't have to do with her diet. It doesn't have to do with something that was anything else other than what she had actually gone through. So she's had an incident when she was younger that she hadn't told anybody. She kind of kept quiet. And she hadn't even told her partner. So no one knew about this situation that had happened to her when she was younger. And it created so much shame around that story that she's carrying this emotion and energy of shame in her womb space.
If you don't mind me saying, was that sexual assault matter?
It was.
Yeah, usually it is. It always is with women.
Yeah. Yeah. So it kind of like, it kind of also affected her innocence. So with your innocence, it's purity. Yeah. And in that womb space, it's sacred. It's where you create life. And it's where the first part of safety needs to develop in the womb space. Yeah. If you feel like you're holding on to something dense, shame, insecurity, any sort of sexual trauma that is affecting your ability to create life, it's going to create an imbalance there. So we cleared this shame and we cleared a lot of the other things that she was carrying regarding this situation. And we also did NLP as well to rewrite the story that she experienced.
Yeah.
And
so you wipe the slate clean pretty much,
correct.
Right? So you have to change the beliefs, but if the emotion is high, then the beliefs, even if you try to wipe out the beliefs, the emotion's still high, she still carries that, or do you just reduce the emotional response to it?
So what I do is we release the energetic emotional charge to the emotion.
Okay.
And we alchemize it. So alchemize it means we transmute it. We turn it into something better. Okay. Because energy can't be created or destroyed. So we need to shift it. Okay. Right?
So it's still there.
So but we move it. It's not that it's there. It's that it's been shifted. So what that means is, say,
tell us what alchemization.
Transformation. Okay. So we transform it. So say, for example, you've had something horrible happen to you, but you've used that horrible experience as wisdom. Yeah. And you won't do that again. Yeah. Right? Okay. Something along those lines. So we shift the storyline. So she's no longer a victim. Now she's empowered.
Okay.
And when she's in that empowered standpoint and she's able to forgive, release, let go, and surrender, she creates the shift within herself. I'm simply guiding her through the experience. 2 weeks later, she messages me and tells me she's pregnant.
Wow. That is freaky.
Yeah.
Especially because it happened recently with you. So that energy is just fresh.
Yeah.
The shift is fresh. You know, sometimes, because I've done the rewiring before, but I'll be honest with you, it's like 3-4 months later, sometimes I can go back to an automatic response.
Default settings, you mean?
Yeah, like to default. But if I've freshly done it and it's all fresh, it's like the transformation happens in that time because your energy shifted and you created a different belief. There's a different emotion to the whole scenario.
Yeah.
So that's where the miracles happen. I think the biggest game for everyone is to keep that consistent for life. Now, what I understand, if you're shifting, you're alchemizing, you just did that with her, all right, in 2 weeks, right? Yeah. She got pregnant in 2 weeks because she was in that energy of shift, right?
Yeah.
Say she goes into default in 2 months' time. The default is also there, but it's not as heightened as it originally was when she originally saw you.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
right?
tell you something, that if you return back to default, that means you haven't cleared it.
So it's not fully clear.
It's not fully cleared because you have not released it. Maybe it's still serving a purpose and there's something that you still need to go through and you need to experience.
Yeah.
But maybe you've released a layer of it, but you haven't released all of it. But when you released something, it doesn't return back to default settings. It's gone.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing about faith is that a lot of people, they attach themselves to that story that they try and find it. They try and find it again.
Well, I don't think so. I'm going to challenge you here.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think they actually try to find it.
Whoop.
I think what actually happens is, have you heard of fulfilling a prophecy, self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah.
So if you believe something, you find it, you don't purposely go find it. It's just your belief. So you need to verify the belief. Do you understand? So it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. But when something's been a belief for so long,
Yeah.
again, like I was saying to you, they've attached their identity around it.
To that. It's like, okay, for example.
So they feel like they don't feel like themselves. They don't feel like they know who this person is. So the integration still needs to take place.
Well, that is cognitive dissonance. That's the term I used, and I think I mentioned it to you before. So if I believe something my whole entire life, but then I'm so challenged by this belief, it's no longer real to me, this belief,
Yep.
That's cognitive dissonance. If you were told that trees are yellow all your life, Paola, but then you learn when you got older that actually no, they're green, you're like, oh my God. And that's the point of cognitive dissonance.
It's like an ego death.
It's ego death. Like if I get married to someone and they live completely different to me and their beliefs are completely different to me and I have to submerge into theirs, I'm going to go through multiple cognitive dissonances because I'm going to be constantly challenged with a belief. Like, and all my beliefs have to die pretty much, So anyway, back to...
I feel like if a belief is not serving you, then it's more or so... It's interesting because what you've just said, you said something along the lines of, if my husband has a different belief than I have, then I have to let my old beliefs die.
That's a belief.
Right? That's interesting. That's interesting that you say that.
Everything is a belief.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you say it and you put it in those terms because if you're not congruent with that belief, you're not going to delete or remove that belief because it's part of your identity, whether you believe it or not. But it needs to be something that you truly believe in for you to create a new belief.
I know what you're saying. Because it won't be congruent.
Absolutely not.
And that's when I think I get sick. Do you know, Paola, I get so sick when I'm not I've mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
Like even if someone tells me something, I'm like, but I just can't. And like it's like this inconsistency of the incongruency makes me actually show up physically sick.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
You just got to honor it. You need to honor it.
Yeah.
The more you honor it, the stronger it becomes. And the more you kind of set that boundary So you won't be in those situations anymore because you won't be invited to them because you've literally said your case. I'm not wanting to come. Thanks for the invite, but no thanks.
Yeah, because that's not true to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the more you listen to this wisdom that is trying to speak to you, the stronger it will become, and the more you honor yourself. Because I'm a big firm believer that the more you honor yourself, the more you honor God, because God's given you this gift of life.
Yeah.
If you dishonor yourself, you're dishonoring God.
Yeah.
Because God's trying to speak to you. God's trying
every single day.
Yeah. But the more you kind of like do that, it just affects you more and more. Like I see God as the Father, right? And I believe that if I was a mother to a child and I saw my child devaluing themselves, it would hurt my heart.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so I feel like it's the same thing with God, is that if God sees you devaluing yourself and not honoring yourself, I can't even imagine how God must be feeling.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like I've created you for a purpose, on purpose, not to devalue yourself.
So do you know when we're talking about this, you know how I've got visuals like frequency, and I was like, frequency. God's all the way up there, and every single day he's talking to you.
Yeah.
But if your frequency is low, the message is not as clear, right?
It's like a radio station.
It's already, yeah, exactly. And Nassim Haramein used this analogy once that our subconscious minds are linked up like a radio to the subconscious in the stratosphere.
Yep.
Okay, so if I'm having a belief in my subconscious is a certain way, it goes through the radio announcer, it detaches into this little cube box that are sitting on the oscillates of the planet Earth. And what they do is these little oscillates, they move around to the other parts of the world. So what we do is it filters through that subconscious into that part of the world. So whatever you're thinking and feeling, you're actually creating, but you're creating that to all everywhere.
Yeah. Should we show your viewers what that actually looks like?
Please. Like that was one massive example today.
So it's like whatever you think, whatever you feel, your body will show you a true statement or a stress, right? So a simple one that I love first is the name test.
Okay.
So we're going to check your name.
Yeah, so this is a very simple one to my audience.
Yes.
We're going to do a little example of what muscle testing or kinesiology looks like and how it determines the true energy of your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
So guys, definitely go to the YouTube channel to see this because you don't want to miss what you're going to see.
All right, let's go. Let's start.
So your arm's going to be my gear stick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So your arm just goes up for me. Yep. And I want you to state your name. My name is Joanne.
My name is Joanne.
And hold. And it's staying strong, right? You can feel that, right?
Yeah.
Now I want you to say, my name is Bob.
My name is Bob.
And hold. And it weakens.
Yes.
Now I want you to say, my name is Joanne.
My name is Joanne.
And I'm trying to push down really hard, but it just stays strong, right?
That's the truth, yeah.
The truth doesn't lie.
Okay.
Right? Your body knows. And let's do one more thing.
Okay, let's do another one.
For me. Hold strong.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get you to think of a pleasant memory. Think of something in your past experience that was really pleasant for you, that brings joy when you think of it. Let me know when you've got it.
I got it.
Got it, and hold. Okay, good. Now I want you to think of something that has recently happened that really stressed you.
Yes.
Okay, got it?
Got it.
And hold.
Oh my God, Paola.
And it weakens, right?
Yeah.
So every thought, every emotion, every experience that we experience affects our physical body either positively or negatively.
Okay. So we can determine that just through our body testing.
Yeah.
So if I really want to know something about something, just muscle. They won't even give me
not
the head.
It's not a psychic tool.
No, I know. I was going to say. But we can use it as a strategy.
Yourself, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually teach this to my students of how to access their own muscles to ask themselves a question. I created this little chart with all of these emotions.
Okay.
And you can like look at the emotions and muscle test yourself and seeing, am I holding on to this, and this? Right?
Okay.
So your fingers become like a chain, right?
Wow.
And you muscle test yourself to see the response. So it goes like this. You can see my fingers, right? Looks like that. I've got 2 fingers in the loop of my other 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm muscle testing this belly of the muscle here. So I say, my name is Paola.
Yeah.
and it stays strong.
Okay.
My name is Bob, and it unlocks.
Okay, so that's how you do it to yourself because you can't do that
Correct.
to yourself. Okay,
Give it a
got
go. Try and see if you can.
Okay, so my name is Joanne.
Yep. So it's staying strong.
Yeah. My name is Paola.
And it unlocks.
And
Doesn't
it
agree.
unlocks, yes.
Right? Now I'm going to ask myself, am I holding on to any trapped emotions? It's unlocking. So it's showing me that there's a stress around that.
Yeah.
So what I would do is then I would go through this chart and see where I'm holding on to these emotions.
So just get to the root cause.
Get to the root cause and clear it.
Wow. But Paola, can I say, I've done so much work around clearing.
You're an onion, my love.
Babe, there's some shit that does not go. Literally, it's like layers after layers after layers. I had this one scenario that happened at 19. I literally, like, it's stuck in my body.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was the first time it happened, though. And I actually don't not think. I know that it wasn't the first time that happened.
Yeah,
so it was a repeat of something. So we had to go back to the original place that it happened. Now, just for my audience, these things that we're talking about, these are just normal everyday things. And some things are not that true. It's just a meaning you created to that event, right? It's how you felt in that scenario.
Yeah.
And I say to my audience, like, for example, right, if you're at school and someone stole your pencil case, like literally stole all your pencil, right? How you felt about that scenario determines the next stealing of something. Like someone they stole your pencil at school and you felt a little bit, upset about it and whatever meaning you created to it. But then you're like 18 years old and they didn't just steal your pencil, they stole your guy. That's the next level up. Your actual emotion based on that response wasn't the actual guy. It was also a previous experience that happened.
Absolutely.
It's the theme. It's
the
the pattern. So they stole. For me, it's betrayal. Like betrayal's a massive one for me.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back down and find out. And betrayal, what happens to my nervous system, it may not that I'm being betrayed. It might be that there's an element of betrayal in that scenario. It literally wipes my nervous system out completely.
Yeah.
Okay. It might even be a white lie, but it just gets me.
It triggers you.
It's a massive trigger.
Yeah, you take it personally.
I take it personally. So there's obviously wound up wounds around that. And I actually know what it is, but sometimes what I'll do is instead of arguing or, yelling and screaming, I'll just pull back because I know that's
what it is.
That's what it is. That's my trigger wound. Okay, so you gave me that one scenario. Can you give me, that was like a really big scenario, babe.
Yeah.
That's like she felt pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And the doctors told her no.
Yeah.
So scenario 2, like a mild one.
Yeah.
Something like just every day that just so that the audience can really connect because that's a really big case.
Yeah.
We'll talk about an everyday case.
A recent case, I've had a 75-year-old lady who's amazing. She's 75 and she's starting to doing healing now. Like it just goes to show that no matter how old you are, you can start wherever wherever you are in your life.
Doesn't matter what
Healing's
age you
for
are.
everybody. It's your birthright.
Yeah.
Now, this 75-year-old lady, she's had a knee replacement. So she's always had knee issues. And funnily enough, she's got a fake, or like it's not a real knee, but the knee still hurts, right? Even after the knee replacement. So we did some emotional releasing on the knee, and it was the right knee. So the right is in relation to the masculine energy, so of the body. If we were to split our body in half, the left is the female and the right is the masculine.
Okay.
So she's got an issue in her right knee. And if we look at it metaphysically, right, meaning the deeper issue, the veil, right, underneath the veil, is the right knee is about where are you not wanting to bend in life, right? Fear of failure, right? Okay. So you kind of feel stuck and you're not able to move forward because usually when we walk, we take our forward. We take our right foot forward first when we make those movements. Yeah. So we cleared some issues around this and her knee's fine now. And it's just, it's so interesting that that's all it takes. She's done surgery, it didn't work. Yeah. It was just an emotional stuff that she needed to be cleared.
So her subconscious was creating a story and a theme that hindered her moving forward. Yeah. But it was physically showing up at forward. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So if you don't mind, we don't know this girl. Can you tell us what it was? Like, can you give us a real life scenario of what it was?
I can't go into too much detail because it's her private information. Course, but all I can say is she's no longer holding on to the attachments of whatever she was holding on to anymore. Wow. And it's a representation now because it manifested the healing in the physical.
Wow, that's amazing, Paola. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember, and I've actually said this in a podcast that I did before, inner child therapy, ages ago. A woman when she was younger, her mum would drop her off, go to work, and drop her off at school.
Yeah.
Correct? Now, her mum's busy. She's trying to make a living for them so they have, obviously a good future, go to a good school, all that sort of stuff. Now, she does all of that, and her daughter creates a story around her mum not really loving her. And the only time she loved her was when she got sick, because she would fall sick and her mum would leave work so she could go pick her up.
Yeah.
Right? So this is young. This is for my audience, this is the state and the power of your subconscious. It's not real. It's just unconscious, right? So she gets married. She's got 3 kids. But what happened? There was something happening at home that triggered off the wound that she wasn't loved by her kids and family. So it could have been just a response or a discussion or an energy or a dynamic.
She got sick.
She would get sick, but she got so sick she was bedridden sick. So she created that disease, and she actually ended up bedridden sick. But then what happened was she saw the therapist, the inner child therapist that I did work with. She actually said to her, she got to the root cause, and that lady got out of her bed. But not only did she get out of her bed, her energy towards her children shifted. Yeah. Okay? And so they shifted, and it's but I'm not saying that could never happen again. But the fact that she was even aware, if I know something about myself, I became aware to it. So I know, that's me.
So she had no idea.
She just had no idea. It was all unconscious. Yeah. And this is the power of the subconscious mind. This is what it can do for you.
Yeah.
And so if I'm the root cause queen, so if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, just know that they actually are tools. They're there's resources, they're messages. Find out what it is. I don't think you can discover all your wounds growing up. Every single wound is not possible. But I think if you are dedicated, you can do the work to actually get to those root causes. Yeah. And actually you can level up. And just so you know, level up is a term that we use when you handled a situation a certain way and now you've handled it in a much better way and you've leveled up. You've leveled up as a human. Your energy shifted, you're healthier, you're more responsive, because it's all opportunities for you to actually be your best self. Yeah. Everything we get is an opportunity for us to level up.
It's we are in this earth school.
It's earth school.
Right?
Yeah.
And this physical body is a meat suit. It's our uniform, right?
Absolutely.
Which is carrying our soul. And every time you say level up, I see it like you're graduating from a year and you're going to the next year. Because you've learned all the lessons that you needed to learn. Yeah. And you've passed the test at the end of the exam. Yeah. And now you're ready to get to the next level. Because you're funny, it's you'll realize that even when you've done a healing session or you've done an experience, maybe something will come back to try and trigger you to see how far you've come. Have you passed the test? Are you going to return back to who you once were, or are you going to pass this? Yeah. And then that's what will determine whether you're ready to go to the next level.
Yeah. So do you know that there's not a lot of people that think the way we think? Just so you know, Paola. Mm-hmm. They don't have this, they never thought about this. They think we're Fruit Loops, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I believe, because
they're my favorite kind of people.
The Fruit Loops.
No, the people that absolutely have no idea what this is, they're my favorite kind of people because
they're oblivious.
They change their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this, once they see it, you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. So I put together and I was like, why do I always think like that? Why am I the white girl? Because people used to say that to me, if there's a why, I'm out of there. I don't even want to know. It's on my, but I'm no, I want to discover it. And you know why? Because I'm such a human person. When I say I'm a human person, I care about others. I don't just diss people. I want to figure out what it is that's causing that for them so that they can up level, Yeah. So I look at the whys. I've always looked at the whys and I thought, you know what? I just surrender. This is my human psyche. This is the way I'm built. This is the way I am. I'm either going to delve into it, be amazing at it, or just leave it, just shut it down, which if you notice when I'm doing my podcast and this is all that we talk about, I've got a glow in my face because I just love these topics.
Yeah.
I love these topics.
Yeah, likewise.
While we're on that topic of the human psyche,
Yes.
the human psyche, that's our next one. It's a big topic. Totally obsessed with it. Okay. Can you describe to us and the audience the human definition of the human psyche?
The human definition of the
Human psyche.
Is there an alien definition of the human psyche?
The human definition, please, Paola. Not the alien one.
Okay, so the psyche, the brain, the mind, there are two parts. You've got your logical mind where you make logic decisions and you're able to problem solve and you're in this conscious state. Right now we are using that conscious part because we're here together, we are communicating, we are talking. And then while I'm talking to you, there's also another part of my brain, which is the subconscious mind, which is like a hard drive in a computer, which stores all of these memories, thoughts, beliefs, experiences that you've ever thought, felt,
Yep.
you name it.
Yes.
Not only for us, but also ancestrally too. Everything that our ancestors have ever gone through, we also carry forward too. Now, how you determine what's happening in the subconscious mind, it shows up in dreams, memories, music that we listen to, we feel an emotion, maybe it's tied to a memory. That's where it all gets stored, right? So it serves a great purpose, the subconscious, because it's there to keep you safe. Safe from harm. When you go through a very traumatic experience, that trauma will get stored in your subconscious so that way you can consciously go about your day. Because if you were to live with this trauma existing every single day, you would have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Which does happen too sometimes.
Yeah.
People will have post-traumatic stress, PTSD.
Of course. Yeah.
I've had a client of mine who had a very traumatic experience happen to her and she developed PTSD. So if you ever touch her in a certain area of her body, her body will respond the same way it did when the trauma happened.
Yeah.
And she's not even in the experience.
Yeah.
So the body will kind of go into fight or flight just to kind of like, hey, no, you're in that same experience. You need to get out. You need to get out.
She might even walk into a room where that person that did that to her, whatever happened, the trauma experience, and they resembled a very similar characteristic
or energy,
and her whole body will lock up.
Yeah.
Like, this is how sensitive I am to emotions, human psyche, and energy. Like, I am totally aware. So if I've had like this girl the experience that she's had with this person, I don't know the scenario, she could go on about her life, everything could be good. You're saying if they're going to touch her in those places that cause trauma, but that's a really extensive problem.
Very.
All right. But she could just walk in a room, someone looks like the person that did it to her, or even had a very similar energy, and she would actually just go into flip out mode.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the power of the subconscious mind, is that sometimes it's so much stronger than your logical mind, because logically you know that you're safe, but subconsciously
you're not safe.
Your body doesn't know the difference. So your subconscious doesn't know the difference with time. It doesn't understand time. It thinks that everything is in the now. Everything is happening in this moment.
Yeah.
Whereas consciously, we know that yesterday was yesterday, today is today, and tomorrow is tomorrow. With the concept of time is great. But with the subconscious, everything's happening in the now. So when we do working with the subconscious mind, because it doesn't understand time, there's a therapy that I love to use, and it's called timeline therapy.
Yes,
have you heard of it?
I've actually dabbled in that. NLP,
right?
People with NLP do it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like you get them to rise above their timeline where they can see themselves in the now.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm on this chair, right? I close my eyes and I imagine myself on this chair and say I want to focus on a particular issue like insecurity. I have low self-esteem, insecurity. I would get them to rise above their timeline and go to the first memory in their timeline.
Where it happened.
Where it first happened, where I first felt insecure. And I would go to that age. And I would go as if I'm visiting myself in that age, at that age.
Yeah.
And I would be almost like the hero. I would be there to support my younger version of self
Yeah.
in that moment to rewrite the story that I've implanted in my mind.
Yeah.
So the amazing thing is that you can rewrite stories that
Yeah.
you've written in your subconscious mind. You just need to know how. And once you know how, oh boy, does stuff shift.
Yeah. Do you know that's a very similar thing to inner child, except with timeline, like it's like you're like watching a movie. So
Yeah.
you watch yourself as a movie. But inner child therapy is that you go to the scenario when you were the child and that happened, and you go in as a superhero, which is your adult self, and you say, what happened to you? How are you feeling? And you let the child feel what they're feeling, and they talk to you about how they're feeling.
Because it's unprocessed.
It's unprocessed, and they go through the process. And then when they're all done and they're cleared, the emotion is less, they start to shift. So we shift them in from whatever, say they're upset or angry, then they move into happy. You know what I mean? Or
it just goes to show,
Yeah.
Joanne, that it's existing. Like
It's still
that's why
there.
it's the issue in the now, because it's
Yeah.
still playing. It's almost like the tab is still up in the computer.
yeah. Oh, I love that.
Right?
I
And
love
you
how
just
said
need
that.
to close the tab so it stops draining the energy of the computer.
Wow. Do you know that I'm so aware of my staff, and when new stuff comes up, I look at, oh, that must have happened to me at some point in my life when I was a child, like unconscious. It's like I was going to get in trouble. Like it could be simple. Like, what did you guys do? You're naughty. Like, we're going to get in trouble. We're going to be reprimanded for something similar. But it would happen to me when I'm in my adult life. Like it could be in a work scenario, a friend scenario. Like, oh my God. Like it was just like, I'm going to get in trouble. Like I'm scared I'm going to get in trouble, which is a normal thing that everyone went through. But it's the same nervous system response that I have to it. So I had to do the work and go, oh, wow, it's connected to this. The moment I shifted and I moved the emotion to understand that it was the child being reprimanded, going to the child, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Then I would actually head out like normal, and then the energy shifts with that person because my energy shifted.
Yeah.
But my natural energy is to go lock up and go, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. Like it's like, but I'm adult, like I'm 38 years old. Like you don't get in trouble like the way you used to get in trouble when you were younger, for being naughty.
I like what you said there when you said that your energy shifted with that person. So
Because I shifted.
yeah, because you shifted, and it's so amazing because that's also the domino effect of healing. Is that not only are you healing yourself, but you also heal those around you, and relationships start to improve around you.
Yeah.
And also the children that you then go and have as well, they don't carry these traumas that you're holding on to.
Yeah.
Because when a baby's in a womb, whatever the mum is feeling, the baby will feel. It's like when the doctor says, don't stress because the baby will feel it.
That's so
Of
true.
course it does, because within the first 6 months of that baby's life existing, it doesn't realize that it's his own person. It still thinks that it's you. That's why it's so attached to the mother.
Yeah.
So everything that we feel gets passed down energetically.
I believe that absolutely. Like in my first notes when I first introduced you, I had written that down, but it didn't come naturally. But now we're on this topic.
Yeah.
I used to be able to pick up on ancestral patterns. And because I studied it, like, I don't know, it must be I think I'm a bit like autistic. I think we're all a little bit autistic, but like, must be my autistic side or my very clever side. But I would understand where the patterns came from, generational stuff. And then what I try to do is change them.
Yeah.
But like changing and rewiring them is not an easy process. It is easier for me to follow the same thing that everyone did. It's just easier, Paola. You know what I mean? Like it's not so complex. I just be calm, settled, migrated, blah, blah. It's actually easy for you to do that as opposed to change the narrative, change the story, create a different path. I think some people, if I looked at my ancestors that tried to do that, they probably didn't make it. I know it's sad as it says, but they didn't make it. And I tell you why they didn't make it, because I don't think they had the resources like we have the resources now, the luxury and the resources to be able to change things for the future, our future children.
It's interesting that you say that too, because it's almost like a lot of the old knowledge is now starting to come back. So a lot of even the healing
wisdom,
knowledge,
the wisdom.
the wisdom. So there was like almost like a period where that wisdom and that knowledge had kind of been muted or disappeared. But our ancestors way back,
They held it.
they
knew
held
it.
that wisdom. They held that, the ability to be so totally connected to God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then medicine came,
yeah.
the pharmakia, which is witchcraft,
Yeah.
pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
It came and
love
it
it. You said
disconnected.
pharmakia. Love that.
It disconnected the bridge between God and his children,
Yeah.
because it disrupted the radio frequency. But now humans are now evolving, because
They're realizing
what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
And we are now coming back to the evolution, the revelation. Everything hidden must be revealed, which is happening right now in our timeline.
Yeah, and because people are realizing when you get these diseases or you suffer these mental health issues or physical issues, it makes you realize that way is not the right way. You know, if you've gone through a really traumatic experience, and we're on that topic, you can have an influx of mast cell activation. That was in our last podcast. So it's basically a high histamine buildup influx around the body, and you don't have histamine issues. Say you don't have them, but you go through a really bad time, your MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome, can just go through the roof.
Yeah.
But also if you've got pre-existing histamines or histamine issues, then the trauma and that experience will actually blow through the roof. Do you know what I mean? So, because it's already there, it already exists. So that was something that I love to intertwine with emotional, because people are just talking about human biology. Yes. All of that exists. But I love when it ties into trauma, because trauma and MCAS are actually, they coexist.
Yeah, absolutely. We
hand in
are a
hand.
triune being. We are
Say that again.
a triune being.
Wow, I love that. Triune being. Triune being. Yeah.
Right. So we're not just one way. We're multiple. It's like the triangle of health, right? We're the physical, we're the nutrition, we're the energetic. Like we're the mind, body, and spirit, right? So one can also affect the other.
Okay.
It's like a domino effect.
Wow.
So we're just looking for the root. Where did it actually stem from?
Yeah.
Yes, you could go with you're getting histamines. Is it because of food? Is it because of stress? Is it because the environment? What is it?
Your gut. It could be your trauma. It could be, there's a whole list of things.
Yeah, but where did it stem from?
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that usually what happens is that when you fix one area, it then kind of balances itself out.
It does. It leaves the air, like the other spots.
Yeah.
Like it will alleviate the pressure from somewhere else.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting, I find.
Love it. Love it, Paola. I have a theory that we are just, and I've said this before, human bodies, okay, we have a soul and we have a brain and the psyche and the subconscious and conscious, and our soul impacts our consciousness, our subconsciousness, and we're just walking around fulfilling our own prophecies of whatever that may be, right? But what happens is eventually the subconscious has to change, evolve, and transmute, because you have experiences that no longer match it, and you keep hitting brick walls, or you keep having similar experiences, and that's where you minute change and transform based on the experiences that you have that challenge your subconscious mind and your subconscious programming. That's my big belief. That's what I think. We're just human psyches walking around creating our...
Can you imagine? All I see now is just human brains just walking around, like big brains with bodies just like walking around the streets.
But Paola, don't laugh. I have diagrams. Trust me, I do the same. Trust me, I can just see the esophagus in the brain. Like, I don't know, that doesn't really look like, that's more of a podcast. But I was like brain, esophagus, and like just the shadow outline of a human. And we're like, and we've got this energy field around our brains, okay? And this energy field around our brain, have you heard of collective consciousness? Mm-hmm. Okay, so for example, right, me and you have a yellow halo. We come together. We're aligned. Mm-hmm. So that the light around our head helps us match each other in this state, state right now. Okay, but in 6 months' time, you might have an experience and you have to divert, change to cater for your pathway, which is your soul, whatever your soul is meant here to do. Same with me. I could be going on another divert pathway, because my psyche color might change to red and I have to align with the red people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they call that consciousness, states of consciousness and collective. Now, I don't want to sound too like that. This is actually science facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the human psyche. Human psyche is built from 0 to 7 and up to 14. Now that psyche creates our program and it basically directs us on our path.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only thing is up to 14, that's our built solid programs, and then anything after that is going to either change our direction based on the pathway God wants us to work on, and that's different for everyone.
Yep. I heard a really cool quote.
Yeah.
It says, you spend half of your life living for others,
Yeah.
and then you spend the other half like releasing the layers that you've placed on yourself based on what others thought you needed to be.
I love that. That's so true. Do you know that when I did all the work, I was like, that's not even a belief of mine. That's someone else's belief. That's what someone said because they're projecting. Like, you know what I mean? That's their belief. That's theirs. Like, it's not even yours, babe. Like, it's yours. When you do the work and you create your own beliefs and you know yourself, actually, you don't create them. That's your truth. That's your intuition. You start to stand in your true self. You realize that's their stuff. It's actually not your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you give me an example of the human psyche manifests a disease?
Yeah, for sure. So cancer, as we all know, is a big one, right? A lot of people have experienced cancer. And also children as well have
Today's
experienced
so bad.
cancer. Yeah, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
So depending on where the cancer lives and exists in the body, there are different meanings for them.
Okay.
So cancer is a toxin, right? It's the body is producing this heavy load of toxin, bitterness, that eventually starts to calcify, right, and become a tumor.
Yeah.
Did you know, this is a fun fact,
Yes.
that when you get cancer will go into a ball, right, like a tumor, and it will stay there. And if it was to go and spread, it would kill you quicker. So what the body does is it will collect all of the cancer and put it into a tumor, right?
Wow.
And it will stay in one spot. And then now what scientists do is they puncture it, and then that's why cancer then spreads. They want to know if it's cancerous. They'll check it, do a biopsy. But until then, you've actually just spread that cancer and allowed it to go everywhere.
Because it caused the trauma.
Yes, exactly.
Cancer cell. I did know that because I experienced it firsthand, and I'll tell you, the audience, about it. So I had a nodule in my thyroid.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a nodule, right? And I got it like biopsied and ultrasound for the first time.
Yeah.
When I went to the lady, like my doctor, the first time it was fine. It was sitting in the banner of 2 to 3. It was not a problem. She's like, it's fine. She goes, but I don't like the place you went. I don't like the radiology you went to. I need you to go to this place in this location. So I went and I did another biopsy, another ultrasound.
Just poking the bear.
By the time I came back, we went from that nodule is so small to I'm really worried about it. This could be cancer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not freaking out here. It's
good on you.
You know what I mean? I knew it. Like, it's been 10 months. I have not taken it out, and I've taken every other alternative method to sort it out. But I was like, well, that's 2 times she poked the bear. And I knew that already because I had done work. I know I'm in the space. So I knew, but I've been doing other methods to work on it. I don't know if I'm going to have to resort to it yet. We're still figuring it out, but it's something that I've not jumped onto the bandwagon for because I knew.
Your intuition will tell you.
Yeah.
Well, with cancer, like I said to you, depending on where it sits, has its own meaning.
Yeah.
Breast cancer, it's a very common one for women. But again, left and right mean 2 different things.
Yeah.
Left feminine, right masculine. So there are issues with left is the feminine aspect of ourselves. So maybe feeling disconnected from our feminine energy, feeling like you're unable to tap into it, It's almost like there has been something severely traumatic that you've experienced in your life regarding your feminine energy that has been toxic. You have not been able to let it go.
Okay. So
And
that's the left side.
The left side.
Okay.
So it's like with cancer, it's something that you have not been able to let go because it's something that's been going on and on and on for a while now that it's had to get to that stage.
Yeah.
So it's holding on to toxicity, holding on to resentment, holding on to anger, bitterness. Because if we think about cancer, that's what it is, like bitterness, toxicity.
Yeah, yeah. And
right?
it's a high influx of inflammation.
Yes.
From the toxicity and resentment and whatever.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the female. And then on the, say if it happens on the right side, maybe it's got to do with something with the male. I know as someone who's had cancer on the right side, and she was getting physically abused by her partner, her husband.
At the time.
And
but why right side if feminine's the left side?
Because it was the husband that was abusing her.
Oh, so if the person actually doing it to them is left or right. Wow, how crazy is that?
Yeah, so she was holding on to resentment towards her husband for what she's gone through. Yeah. And it was affecting her right side because it's the masculine side.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
And
Paola.
Also with that, she had to like remove herself from her feminine energy and become more masculine because she had to defend herself.
So that's also right side.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's less of the left side, which is the feminine
Correct.
side.
So that's just an example, but that's the severe case, and it's so common these days. And with kids, like that's insane because you've got babies who've just come out of the womb developing cancer.
Yeah.
If that doesn't tell you that it's stemming from the mother or the father, the cells, I don't know what can, because a baby, they don't smoke, they don't drink alcohol, they haven't even eaten anything yet. Yeah. Right? They haven't even expressed any emotional issues yet.
Yeah. So that's just directly from their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, Paola, this is a very touchy subject.
Certain vaccines that they have taken.
Yeah. Look, it's a very touchy subject. I love hearing your perspective on that. And this is what we're here to talk about today. Mm-hmm. But, when we talk about human biology, and I've sat down with Makeshri, we've talked about that. There is science things that they also have dug into research that can cause these manifestations.
Absolutely.
So there's definitely the biological aspect, but I think stress and inflammation is the biggest driver behind it all. Now, if stress and inflammation is the driver behind it all, and I've got heaps of stress and inflammation because, for example, my husband's abusing me. I'm giving you an example. Yeah. And you're doing the same, you're getting the same experience. And there's me and you, and your husband's abusing you, and my husband's abusing me. We're doing a scenario here, right? The manifestation of the disease for us both is different.
Correct.
Okay, because you're a different human to me. You have different experiences. You've gone through different stuff. Your psyche is different. Your whole human experience is different. And so I think the manifestation of the disease is different for you than it would be for me.
Absolutely, because you're going through your own individual experience.
But what we want to know here is that there's the inflammation driving it. That's the similar thing that we both have.
It's interesting you were saying about emotions being one of the main causes of imbalances. And, I think nutrition and lifestyle is also really important too. I believe that plays a massive role and a massive part. But interesting fact, my grandmother actually lived to 100.
Wow.
Right? And also I've got my partner, his grandmother was a smoker all her life. Still to this day, she's a smoker. And she's like, I don't know, in her 80s, 90s, around that. She's not on any medication, not on anything. It's just that she has such a positive outlook on life. She doesn't even look to smoking as a negative. She just enjoys it. Yeah. And she doesn't see it as bad. And I think that our mind is more powerful than what we put in our body.
Yeah. I said this the other day in the last podcast. I said to Makeshri, God, I reckon if my neurotransmitters were up every day and everything was good, I could have McDonald's every day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to have McDonald's, but it's the state of what you're in and how you're processing the food. And when people say, people before used to have allergies or problems with their health, it was minute to what it is today.
Yeah.
And I think because the stress has gone up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quality of the foods is bad. Emotional stuff.
Even the financial, the
that's
quality
what I'm
of life, the living.
quality of life is gone up. So that causes more stress, causes more disease.
It was never meant to be this way.
No.
We're literally working because we're enslaved in this.
It's modern day slavery. I've said this multiple times. Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Paola, is that a belief though? Is that really a belief?
I think it's visual. You can see it.
You can see it's actually happening.
It's actually happening. Back in the day, a wife would stay at home with her children and raise her family, raise her kids, and the husband would be working.
That's it.
Now you've got the government raising your children.
Yeah.
And
it's
that's scary.
And everyone's working.
Yeah.
And even if you're working, it's still not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the government pushes their own agendas onto the public, right? Yeah. And if the government is pushing an agenda, you're going to end up going home to a child that you can't even recognize.
Yeah.
Because you haven't even brought it up because you've been so busy because they've made you busy on purpose.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree. Do you know how long ago I thought that? I already put it together ages ago. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Like, it's actually awful the way that everything's set up, you know. You know, Paola, the human psyche is so important. And I think the reason why we have more disease and more problems these days is, I think, as a total collective, the psyche of the human has changed. Do you not agree?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Evolved.
Like, when you say evolved, positively or negatively? Because if there's more disease, then I think the human psyche is not, it's not like we're evolving positively. I think there is more of a negative, like a decline in the human psyche.
It's interesting because, God gives us free will, right?
Yeah.
He allows us to go through certain experiences. Yeah. And like I said to you, what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
The pendulum is swinging one way, extremely, right? Eventually what's going to happen is that pendulum is going to swing back the other way.
So we have to.
Yeah. It's almost like part of that journey.
Yeah.
We need to go to the worst of the worst to then rewrite the story.
Yeah. So like you hit the ball on the wall and the ball bounces back.
Exactly.
But the ball goes all the way over there.
Yeah. We need to go through this as part of our evolution to reclaim back our power and
as a nation.
As a collective consciousness.
But that's what I said to you before, is that because I value humans, I'm a human, I realize that the way the world is going is humans are not valued. We're becoming less and less valued, and money's becoming valued.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And social status and all that sort of stuff.
Man, I can go on and on. Like, honestly, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist you've ever met in your life. We would have to do one episode of conspiracy stuff because I am that girl that will tell you what is actually happening and what's actually going on.
Yeah, and no, I do believe you, but we'll keep it really nice and simple today.
Of course. But stay tuned for the next one.
So the disease you talked about that got manifested was that girl got cancer because her husband was beating her on the physically beating her, and she manifested it on the right side because of the male. Can you give me another scenario?
Yeah.
A human psyche?
Yeah, for
manifestation.
Sure. Eczema, inflammation's a good one. So that is, your skin's your first barrier of protection.
Yeah.
And with eczema, it's kind of coming from underneath. It's an internal inflammation. It's an internal heat. It's an internal fire. So it's internalized frustration that has not been expressed that gets manifested in the physical, in the inside. So if you've got eczema, issues with your skin, any type of inflammation around your body, it's like that because your skin is your first layer of protection. You're not protecting yourself. You're allowing whatever's going on to internalize, and you're not expressing yourself fully.
Yeah, okay.
You're abrupting inside.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. So what was the scenario there?
So I have a client of mine who will often get flare-ups when she's stressed. So it's interesting because it comes from the same spot. So we know what the issue is. We've worked on it, but the consistency has not been there on her part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
So it's almost like there are so many layers to the issue that she's experiencing that we haven't been able to stop it from clearing when she gets triggered. It's not online all the time like it used to, which is great.
Yeah.
It only flares up now when she's going through a stress, a pattern. But I guess it's like a radar it kind of shows her when she's out of alignment.
Yeah, okay, got it. But is there a particular scenario or any kind of stress or a particular stressor? Is there a trigger?
For her, it's when she's not expressing herself.
Okay,
she's
so that's
internalizing whatever she's going through, and she's not fully expressing herself.
Yeah.
So she kind of swallows it, and then the fire, that resentment, that frustration, it affects her physically because she's not releasing it.
And
she's
she gets
holding
the
it.
burn on her skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Wow. So, Paola, back on the topic is that we've not living the right way, and you're a conspiracy theorist. Aboriginals literally, Aboriginals, they had it right so long ago.
Telling me,
babe, the first interview I got here, and I met Nick for the first time at Beta. I got interviewed by someone, and that was my whole thing. I was like, Aboriginals, they were the first ones to create all of this connection. I've actually done a day with them to experience what they went through and how they live. Babe, they won't pick a flower off the branch because it's has so much meaning and connection, and that's its home. Like, this is how much meaning they create. We're like absolutely, completely, we're the opposite. We trample, we, dispose.
We're so disconnected.
We're so disconnected
ourselves.
And, they've given them like housing commission and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, that's not what they want.
They've done that on purpose.
Like, get them to migrate.
There's so much power that they hold with this knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
That they needed to make them dependent on the government.
Yeah.
So that way the government then has the right to dictate what they do and not do. The power that they possess is extremely, extremely powerful. They are very connected to God. And these people that came and infiltrated Australia really knew this, very much so. But
they looked at them as like they were.
That's what they want you to believe.
Okay.
That's the story that they'll tell you. But these guys held a lot of knowledge and wisdom. They were so connected to the weather. They were so connected to the land.
Yeah.
The ancestors, the spirit of everything around them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wisdom that
they held.
Yes.
They still have. I think there's some still alive that still carry on that. And that's what I was talking to you about, is that we're so far backwards. We're so far gone. And I think the diseases that we're experiencing today is a manifestation of how far far away we are from the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And while we're on this topic about the truth, Paola, and we've spoken about this many times, and I could probably detest it or not, but I remember Gary Brecker, who's a human biologist. I remember him saying, and I watched his reel, that the highest frequency is truth. My bad. Let's reverse that. Rewind. The highest frequency was authenticity.
Yep.
So when they measured it in a box, they measured the frequency, and I remember shame, guilt, jealousy, fear, all of that was down the bottom, and the highest one was actually authenticity. So they physically measured this. This is real measure, right?
Well, I love how your subconscious mind automatically said that the highest vibration is truth, because that's actually truth. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell me.
So they say that authenticity is the highest vibration. My opinion is that truth is. And authenticity is very individualized, and it's very much so thrown out everywhere. It's like, I'm being authentic. This is my authentic self. And then I feel like ego is involved in that.
Authenticity.
When someone says I'm being authentic, right? But the truth is the truth. And this is why I love what Jesus says. He says, I am the truth, the way, and the life. And when he says that, he doesn't say, I am authentic, listen to me. He doesn't say that, does he? Right?
No, he doesn't.
It doesn't even say authenticity in the Bible. Not even once, not twice, never.
Yeah.
So I feel like that authenticity is more personalized based on the individual rather than it being a universal vibration of the highest. I did want to give you an example of this to kind of understand a little bit more, because everyone can say that they're living authentic to themselves, and that's your personal journey.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
Yeah, that's right.
If you feel like
you
that.
do you, boo. I love that. Yeah.
If that's making you feel authentic, then that's your prerogative. You do what you want. But I was saying this, I was having a chat with my partner about this, and we're having a chat about authenticity and truth. And I said to him, I said, okay, let's break it down this way. A person would feel, let's say, you were born a man, right? And one day you feel like being a man doesn't feel authentic to you anymore. I feel more authentic being a woman. And he turns into a woman.
Yes.
But what is the truth, Joanne? The truth is that individual was biologically a man.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So do you see the difference that I'm trying to express here?
Yeah, because he's living his authentic life now, but that's been biologically changed. He's biologically changed the truth.
Correct.
Yeah, he's manufactured and altered it to his truth.
But the original truth is the truth, and it can't be unwritten as the truth.
Yeah, and no one can manipulate that.
Correct.
And that's why Jesus is, what he says is true.
And this is why I feel like truth is the highest vibration, because it cannot be altered. It cannot evolve. The truth is the truth. It remains the same. It's the pillar. It's what keeps us grounded.
Okay, so if that's the truth, right, and Jesus is the truth, then you just naturally show up authentic. Right? If that's the real truth.
Yeah.
Correct?
Sure.
Yeah. What's your other theory on that?
I feel like you evolve consistently. Your version of authenticity is always going to change.
Okay.
Who you were 10 years ago
is different
to who you are now.
True.
But maybe we can accept the fact that we are authentically being who we are in the moment.
Okay, yeah. I got it. I understand, yeah. Yeah, I get that.
that.
That's why I say it's very blurred lines.
Yeah, very much so. And I do feel as though that, like I was saying, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is always going to be an agenda that people will go and push through.
Yeah.
There
like
are
the vaccines.
Like the vaccines.
Yeah.
Like LGBTQ. Respect them. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Just don't push it on my children. Thanks.
Yeah. But that's the agenda that they have. That's their truth.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to say to you that the highest vibration is authenticity, because that gives them...
That's been changed and manipulated for theirs, for whatever their...
Exactly.
Yeah. Whatever it is that they're...
Their agenda, well, it's depopulization.
Okay.
So if we have males and males and females together, what happens with procreation?
Yeah, we depopulate.
We depopulate.
And then the crazy people get richer and more in control.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the rest that are remaining is just slavery.
Yeah, slavery. Yeah, I've always said it's modern day slavery. The only thing is, if I know it's modern day slavery, I've aligned myself to a role that have purpose and aligned to. Do you know what I mean? It's more in what I do for a living. Like the thing is, if Jesus knows all of this, he knows that. He knows they're depopulating. He knows that's their agenda. He knows what their intention is. Mm-hmm. There's still Jesus in it all. And Jesus helps, if you're connected to him, he helps you through it all. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so he'll give you that job that is aligned to you.
Yep.
He'll give you the money that you need to live and procreate.
Yeah.
Because he's your agenda.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
your agenda. You know what I mean? Like, so he's looking after you. It's like if you have children, you look after your children. They're your best.
Absolutely.
You look after their best intention. And that's how I see it. I see it the same way.
And I feel like people have disconnected themselves from what God is.
Yeah.
And the way I reel people back in is think of how much you love, say if you're a mother or a father, how much you love your child, that they could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And if they did, yes, you get disappointed. Yes, you get upset, but your love for them will never fade.
Change, yeah.
You will go move mountains, earth and rivers to do what you need to do for them.
Yeah.
And how does that exist? That can only exist because God has gifted that. It's almost like sharing a little bit of what God has for you.
Yeah.
For you to experience it.
Yeah. And everyone's journey is different. What God wants for you is different for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? This is how I think. This is my theory on life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
how boring would it be if there was all Joanne's or Paola's? Like, seriously. It's like,
there'd be no one else. Yeah.
Well, maybe. The world might be a better.
I know it would be a more heartfelt place and like caring place. But
it'll be boring.
It'll be boring.
There won't be anything challenging us,
true,
right?
True.
Or maybe, staring at yourself might be a bit challenging. Yeah. It's like, go away. I'm done with you.
Oh, that's funny. The human psyche. Well, I know we've touched on, we've already spoken about it. You know why I wrote my books is because I realized that theory such a long time ago that I thought, why not actually plant healthy seeds into the human psyche, like from now? So what you're doing is you're really planting this stuff earlier on, and that stuff earlier on helps to create really healthy programs, because I don't have to relearn that when I'm 20. I already learned it. I already heard about it. I know the Mr. Mitochondria, or Mr. Mitochondria or mitochondria, and I know Mr. Vagus, the vagus nerve. I know who they are. But the thing is, I will obviously learn about them in depth when I'm older.
Yeah.
But the seeds already planted, so it's already there for them.
I hope so much success for you in those areas.
Thanks, babe.
Seriously, because again, you're beginning this new era, this new shift in the consciousness of our little ones, which are our future.
Yeah, and it's all healthy. It's all about health.
Yeah.
I think if you're healthy, you can do so many things. You can achieve so many things.
Yeah.
And it's also like if you're emotionally healthy, then you eat better, so you're healthier. So they all connect. What was that?
Triune being.
The triune being. I'm never going to forget that. The triune being, guys. Don't forget that, which means that every part of that whole thing matters, the whole cycle.
Yes.
Paola, there's so many modalities, right? Inner child therapies.
So many modalities, I know.
And NLP, but why kinesiology?
Yeah.
Like, I know you told me the story how you got into it, but why that out of everything?
Well, kinesiology, because it is really cool.
Okay, that's your answer.
No, I just love it because it's there in that moment. You can see your body changing, and you can see the muscle testing and the shift, and it gives answers
quick
and fast. I really like that about kinesiology. I like that it bypasses the logical mind, and you don't have to think. You just let the body respond.
Yeah.
You're communicating to this innate wisdom.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's empowering. It's quick. It's supportive. It's integrative. It looks at you as a whole. It doesn't look at you just singular.
Yeah.
That's why I like kinesiology.
And you don't have to cut a limb or, cut an ear to get them.
Definitely not. No biopsies here.
No biopsies. Paola, this podcast is all about be thyself, being the best self. What can you describe to the audience, or how would you share with them your innate wisdom when it comes to kinesiology that would help them to be their best self?
Yeah. I think that the more that you work on getting closer to who you truly are, releasing the layers of projections of old beliefs and opinions, and you come closer to yourself, the true self begins to reveal itself. It just flowers. You flower open. It's not a destination, it's a journey, and you will eventually reveal who your true self is, and it's the beautiful evolution. I still haven't even probably found the true self of myself, because it's an evolution. You're constantly evolving, you're constantly searching, you're constantly experiencing it. But if you're committing to self, honoring self, loving self, looking into self, having more wisdom about yourself, tuning into yourself, your intuition, that's the beauty of what it's all about.
Being thy best self.
Being thy best self in all areas.
So basically knowing true self so that you can be the best self.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you don't know what it is, then you
be
can't
thyself, know thyself.
Yeah.
It's like it's written many, many moons ago.
The end.
The end.
Thank you so much, Paola.
Thanks, Joe.
You're so full of wisdom.
I loved
Thanks
it.
for your time today.
Pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned. I'm sure there's going to be another one. And also watch the YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTube's the best. You see our facial expressions, frequency. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Be Thyself podcast by Joanne Lolash. This was episode 14 with Paola. You can look at us on Spotify and on YouTube. Stay tuned. There'll be more to come. Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Bye.